And with that, welcome to Top Rope Spoilers, subsidiary of On the Ring Apron. I'm Steve. Lovely co-host coming in, Kia.
Word.
And the tri-host of all tri-hosts, Alyssa, running the camera in the back. Say hello.
He.
Yeet! Am I allowed to do that?
Maybe.
Okay, we're gonna say that I can. Okay, we're gonna try not to get canceled this time. We've done it twice in a row.
Oh my God.
Somehow we're still going, and our
Going
viewer
for the
count has actually
3P.
never been higher.
Going for the 3P, and that's on par.
That's
Let's
it.
do it.
But
All I know is our viewer count's never been higher. We're picking up viewership out the thing, and it's all thanks to you guys. Thank you all so much for continuing to subscribe. Keep liking, subscribing, following. Tell us all. Hey, we love doing this. We don't get paid for this. Sorta. Anyway. No.
So as you can clearly see, we're doing a PLE, which is Deadline, and I think, if I'm correct, this is the newest PLE that they've had. They've discussed it, for the last 2 weeks leading up to now, and I think, how many matches do we have in this one?
5.
Okay.
At least as of the time of this recording, they'll always, they'll throw a dark match or something in there.
All right, so let's go ahead, before we officially get started, let's go ahead and thank Puppeteer, featuring Emotional Zan.
Puppeteer is the name of the song. Rightfield is the name of the group that's doing it.
Okay.
But their album actually just released on Apple Music and Spotify on the 2nd, so it's still relatively new. Great song, banger. They've got a lot of other good ones on there. I'm not the music buff of all of us, but I really like this one, and I like a lot of their other stuff too. If you're a fan of like Blink-182 or stuff like that, this is absolutely up your go-to.
Blink, Green Day, Limp Bizkit,
So,
yeah, we're
if you
good.
like the song, take a listen to it. Hashtag NXT Loud. Apparently, they're going to actually have a hashtag with this going forward. But this is NXT Deadline, the final PLE of the year. So, unless I do I'm planning on doing one plate exchange, and we might do, something Christmassy or something, just for fun. But otherwise, this is the last chance you get to see us. We are planning on being live in Orlando for this. We actually did get the official invite. Still working on our transportation situation, so I'm hoping we're going to be there. If so, entrances from the event will be put on YouTube a little bit after the show. But meanwhile, let's hit the scoreboard, where for the second pay-per-view in a row, wonderful Miss Alyssa back there came within one pick of a perfect pay-per-view. So she is all of a sudden closing the gap in a hurry. Slide back about half a step for me. So once again, her and the OTRAs each came within one. Who'd you miss at Survivor Series? Who'd we miss?
You missed AJ.
Was it
Yeah,
Styles?
it was literally just Styles.
That was it. That was it for her, because she even made note of it. She's like,
Kia for the second pay-per-view went broke or nothing, and went broke. But we've seen bigger comebacks on this. Remember season 2? I was way ahead, and you managed to come back and beat me pretty soundly too. So long way to go. Still that big Royal Rumble pay-per-view coming up, which would be the next one that should fall right into this slot. But currently I'm still ahead. I got 60. Alyssa's run through the last couple of PLEs has closed the gap, so her and the OTRAs are within 4. So I need to pick up my game here. But NXT's that's where I rule the roost. Hopefully I can do things. And don't count out Kia. We've seen bigger comebacks. Season 2, she's done this once before, so she is absolutely not out of the running. But as we said, 5 matches set for this PLE, including one brand new, never before seen match, not just in WWE, but in wrestling in general. We'll be going over that as part of our co-main events later this evening. But let's start off with the first match on the card, just added yesterday on NXT, and that is a UK-born rivalry between two very dark-minded young women now getting ready to battle head-to-head. Their rivalry now bleeding over here into the U.S., as Alba Fyre will go one-on-one with the Scarlet Witch, Isla Dawn. We've seen obviously the kind of ferocity that Alba can bring. A little bit less familiar with Isla. I watched her when the UK series was still on, but we haven't had an opportunity to see her, as this will be her debut match in NXT, and she gets it at a premium live event, and so that should tell you everything you need to know. But they're very familiar with each other. I definitely expect fireworks here.
but the fact that she's been around, she's come around, and she's done nothing but set everything ablaze with every match against every opponent. And she's literally making it work, and she's making it look good. Now we've got Isla over here, who just came out of nowhere, which is, for me, it's kind of witchy, but I will digress. Either way.
Could you hear the eye roll behind the camera? Did anybody else hear it? Okay. Comment if you did.
Either way, she's coming out of nowhere. She literally threw off Alba Fyre's game against Mandy Rose, which led Mandy to retain her title. That is correct, man. So, her right here, Isla, is pretty much already stirring the pot for
Which pot? Cauldron?
A cauldron for
Here
what
we
is
go.
to come. So between these,
So many eye rolls.
so between these two,
This is the wrong live event. They should have done this for Halloween Havoc.
they should have, but they didn't. But between these two, who knows? Because like you said, they're like-minded, they're dark, they're fierce. I've only known a couple of matches where I've seen Isla, wrestle. So I want to see what she can do against Alba Fyre, one of her greatest, what I feel like her greatest enemies, but opponents.
I'd argue that Isla was probably Alba's biggest rival when she was still, now of course, still Kaylee Ray back then. But, Isla was definitely one who always kept her on her toes.
She did.
And obviously being of the witch mentality, we've kind of gotten a glimpse of how things like that work with Alexa in her fiend form.
Mode, yeah.
So, Isla gives off something kind of similar, definitely pulls the dark arts in, and somehow Alba always seems to be in the way of that. Alyssa, I know you're kind of only familiar with Alba. I don't know if you've ever seen Isla wrestle,
Nope.
so this will be kind of a new experience for you. Just not necessarily a preview, but any thoughts going into this one?
I was about to say my favorite line. I don't know nothing about you, so I'm going to have to stick to what I know, so...
Put it on a t-shirt.
Swear to God.
We're going to create like a Letterman top 10 of all of Alyssa's usual lines in the show. We already know it's going to be number 1.
Long as you know, Cheryl.
Wow, the fact that we all stopped at the same time.
Exactly. Been around y'all too long.
Yep,
But we'll
yep,
digress.
yep.
Temporarily.
That is what it is. So I needed a second to properly get everything back up. For the second straight top rope spoilers, I flubbed and forgot to set the thing to auto-update the OTRA vote. For those of you who've never watched our show, we actually have YouTube community voting where you can go in and can actually vote. Polls are still open. They don't become live until the bell actually rings to start the match. So there's still time to throw in your vote. And right now, there's actually been a very decent turnout. I added pictures to our polls this time. So
Y'all want to hear a funny story? I've been waiting to tell this story for the last several months over every PLE.
I don't know what she's about to say, so this could be what gets us canceled, but go for it.
So, I'm literally going through YouTube like I always do. And I said, oh, there's someone doing a poll, y'all. Let's do
It was our fault.
And it's wrestling. This is going to be great. Let's see how we can incorporate it into ours. I'm sitting here. I literally voted on every PLE at the time. At the time, it was pay-per-views. And I was like,
This looks familiar.
oh, this is us. Okay.
Well, nice to know she's following us.
It took 2 and 2 to put it together. I'm so slow, as always. Let's go.
Either way, so the percentages we do put up here are where they stand at the current moment. Obviously, subject to change. If they're close enough, they potentially could switch. I believe at our last one, I actually think the Sheamus Survivor Series team was ahead, and then it flipped over to the Bloodline before the actual match started. So played in their favor because ultimately you got a point out of it. But right now, it stands at 74% of our voters right now are going with Alba Fyre to win this match over Isla Dawn. I've got the lead, so that means I get to go first from our group. I'm actually going to go the other way on this. I'm going Isla Dawn in this match. The reason being is because you don't build her up to have this huge debut going up against a former UK rival and costing her the NXT Women's title and then have her lose her first match. I feel like Alba has been, of course, the forever champ out in UK. She's got enough, sense and stability in NXT that she can afford the loss while carrying a fellow UK rival into it. So I do think it'll probably be by crook, probably some little bit of witchcraft, no pun intended, in there. But I like Dawn winning this one.
All right.
Actually, be Alyssa next because she's next up on the board. She's gonna go with what she knows.
I mean, I kind of want to go with what I know, but also that was a really good argument right there. Why would you sit there and bring her?
Steve won.
That makes sense.
One.
I mean,
Anyone who ever wondered why we need an hour to do our show
Leave me
sees time.
because what you ain't gonna do is me.
Is you, I know.
I'm gonna go. That argument is too good to pass up. And then also,
So
if he's wrong,
she
I
can blame
won't.
me.
Exactly. I could blame him, but also there will be no harm on my end either because he won't make up that point. So it's fine. So I'm gonna go Isla Dawn. Yeah.
You're gonna go Isla?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
I'm going to go the opposite. I'm going to get Alba Fyre. Why would you bring in Isla to actually interfere? Because that's what she did when Alba and Rose were up against each other, and then have Alba lose. I feel like Alba has a lot of payback, revenge, this is going to be Isla's deadline for what she has done. So I feel like, in my opinion, for me, my vote is going to go towards our follower. Hi, Kaylee Ray, Alba Fyre. I'm
That's
sorry.
true, she does follow us.
I'm going with the Ultras. We're going to ride together, as Alyssa says.
It's weird because the fact that all three of us literally have the same argument, yet we made different picks. I'm not sure that's ever happened before.
Y'all's argument is, why would you bring her up? My argument is, why would you let her have a good match with Mandy, then bring her in, and then she loses? So I'm pulling for her.
With all due respect, what match does Mandy have that's not good? I mean, come on. 400 plus days as champ. I can't believe when we went to Halloween Havoc 2 years ago, I don't think we'd ever be saying that.
Congratulations to her.
Keep it up. We were closing in on Asuka's record. All right, match 2. Staying with another championship match caliber here, and this one also getting added to NXT. Or nope, not for you. Okay, so this one I get to hold. Yay me! But this one also getting added to NXT, and I don't think any of us saw this one coming for sure.
Absolutely
but
not.
Pretty Deadly doing Pretty Deadly's Christmas, I don't know, jingle or story or whatever they wanted to call it, but certainly getting quite a rainbow of a Christmas gift, no pun fully intended there, as the New Day making their initial debut, well, at least Kofi anyway. Xavier used to be, going back quite a ways. But the New Day showing up at NXT, and it was officially laid down that they want to challenge Pretty Deadly for the NXT Tag Team titles. So, certainly a surprise, and you know what the New Day's always full of, and that is surprises. Did Pretty Deadly just bite off more than they could chew, going up against what most people would argue to be one of the top 2 greatest tag teams of all time?
I honestly couldn't believe it when you told us in the living room that the New Day would be coming down to NXT. Again, Woods is an alum. Kofi, this is his first time, so welcome back for Woods. I would believe Pretty Deadly, yeah, they might have bitten off more than they can chew, but when have they never bitten off more than they can chew? They literally keep their feet in their mouth and not on the ground.
Well, usually they can back it up, though. Alyssa?
Yeah, back it up. They win by hook or crook. I don't care what it is. Because you got to think, anytime they've won, they've walked in after everything was done, and then they win.
That's true.
So,
they unified and won the titles due to, Damon Kemp's
literally.
assistance. And the first time they won it, they did it on our debut match. So this is actually the second time they've held this belt.
Yeah, so I feel like they've definitely met their match here. I think it would make a lot of sense. Storyline-wise, like we discussed earlier, like they don't really have anything... Like, New Day didn't really have anything going on, so I think it'd be nice and refreshing to see some energy, some new energy down in NXT. So
that's true.
I like it.
And you make a good point there in the fact that there's really nothing lined up for the New Day. They put them in the storyline with the Bloodline and the Usos to have them try to stop them from breaking the tag team record. They failed to do so. I think we all kind of saw that one coming. But you look at it quietly, and I mean we all kind of know the direction the Usos storyline with the tag titles is going over these next couple of months. And with Big E, doesn't look like he's on the horizon, anytime soon. There's really nowhere for the New Day to go. So honestly, even if they don't win this match, I think this is a great move for the New Day to, like you said, bring not just some new energy down to NXT's tag team division, but also give the New Day some new energy because you've got an opportunity to have them in an environment where they absolutely can rule the roost. I hope this is not a one-off, very similar to what they did with Worlds Collide. And honestly, I'd like to see, maybe a surprise here, and let's see what happens. A bit of history coming up, though, also potentially for Kofi Kingston in this one. Kofi actually is tied with both Edge and Booker T as a 14-time tag team champion. It's a 3-way tie for the highest spot, so if Kofi and Xavier were to win the tag team titles, it would be his 15th reign in WWE as a tag team champion. His first, however, with this belt, which would make him the all-time leader in tag team title reigns. And he's done it with, 5 or 6 different partners over time. I mean, you can go back. I mean, you're talking, of course, Xavier. You're talking Big E at separate times. Evan Bourne. If you want to go way on back, I think him and CM Punk, were tag team titles for a few weeks when he was still in his Jamaican persona. Kofi's done it all, been it all, Grand Slam champion, so why not add one more to the reigns? But let's see what the OTRAs are taking so far. Again, Not much poll voting on this one up till now because it's just a new match, but plenty of time between now and Saturday. But right now, 66, so 2 out of 3 are going with the New Day to pull the upset and win the tag team titles, or they're looking at a disqualification retain from Pretty Deadly, one of the two. But 2 out of 3 going with the New Day. Alyssa, you'd be up first on this one. What do you think?
I think I'm going to go with the New Day as well. Like I said, looking at Pretty Deadly's track record with the 2 times they have won it, they came in at the end and literally kind of like stole it, in my opinion. So I feel like when you're having to go in there by yourself and it's just you two and against 2 other people, I don't know if they have it. So I'm going to go New Day.
Yeah.
I'm going to say, and I can tell you from the beginning, I wasn't the one that believed in the New Day, but they have done nothing but...
Historically wrong.
Yeah, they've done nothing but come in and win literally everything they go for, and they do it having fun, enjoying themselves. Now, yes, their third person is gone, but that doesn't stop Xavier, and that doesn't stop Kofi. And with that being said, for me, I want to see honesty. I want to see a fair wrestling match. I don't want to see by hook or crook. I don't want to see 2 pretty boys who think they can get away with it. Yeah,
they are quite handsome, aren't they?
They're not. I want to see Xavier and Kofi go in and do what they always do and literally take those titles and wear them proudly because they deserve it. They don't deserve it. So, I'm picking what the Ultras pick. I'm picking New Day, yeah.
Okay. I'll complete the run here. I'm going New Day as well. Something just feels right about this, you know, and I think, Alyssa, I think you hit the nail on the head on this one. I think new energy going into a new year, it gives you something to do, and it also elevates the entire tag team division, because what that translates to is ultimately if the New Day wins the championships, it means that whoever wins is going to have to take down what most people would argue to be either the number 1 or number 2 ranked tag team in the history of WWE in order to win the championships. And especially when you're in NXT, these teams are still kind of fluctuating, still trying to find themselves as they go through the developmental, getting ready for the main roster. And all of a sudden you bring a team of this caliber with significantly more experience than Pretty Deadly. I'm not even, and also with as many battles as the New Day has had against, list opponent here. You can name competitors for the last decade. They know the hook or crook thing. They know what's coming. There's no trick that Pretty Deadly's going to have in their bag that the New Day has not seen and countered a dozen times before. They're going to show up. They're going to be ready to shock the world. And I feel like this is one that's going to send the Performance Center into a nice uproar. So I'll complete the run here. I like the New Day winning as well. So I guess we'll find out.
Yep.
I wonder what the New Day plates would look like on here.
Colorful.
Let's think about it. They've always had their own... Think about it. The tag team titles have never had side plates, neither of those. So we've never had New Day plates.
Oh, that'd be cute.
Needs to happen. Unicorn?
Maybe.
Pancakes.
Do it like
silhouette,
that thing.
silhouette of Biggie. Maybe
like
you can get one that if you turn it, maybe it'll swivel
yes,
or something.
There you go.
Come on, somebody trademark that quick.
Let's go ahead. We get a slice.
Somebody, we get a slice on this one. Moving to our third match, we've decided that this is probably going to be the main event, but we've decided to put it in the next match only because we want to discuss the 2 Iron Survivor matches at the end. So this is for the NXT Championship, as Bron Breakker, who has proudly held this championship for just about all year, will battle against returning Apollo Crews. He's been back for a couple of months. He's gone to war with Grayson Waller, taking on every competitor that stood in his way. But from the moment Apollo showed back up, he said, I'm coming for the NXT Championship, one of the titles I've never held, and Breakker right now stands in his way. It's been fun banter back and forth. They're meeting at restaurants, they're meeting at parks, they're meeting whatever, and it's friendly banter up till now, but we know that on Saturday, all bets are off. And making its official debut on our show, we do have the new NXT Championship belt in all its red, blazing blue glory. Yes, we still have the Bron Breakker plates on them as well, but nice and shiny. Yes, we still have the old one as well. But it's time that this one made its debut and get a chance before our little one starts putting fingerprints on it. Holding this one?
No, I'm good.
Me again? Yay.
Yeah.
2? I get 2 in a premium live event? I don't know what to do. I usually don't even get 1. But discussing this one, it's rare you get a face versus face type of match. You know, you don't typically get this that often. Usually you get a person that just beforehand turns heel. But, you know, as popular as Bron Breakker has become in NXT, being the guy who has matured, he's held down the fort, he's held down the title, and has served the promotion well, you've got a person who was beloved during his run in NXT in Apollo Crews, and now you all of a sudden have them going head-to-head with the most prestigious prize in NXT on the line.
I don't really know what to say besides I feel like it's a good match. From what I've been able to catch, the back and forth has been good. I feel like both men will be deserving to hold the title. The fact that Bron has actually gotten, Bron Breakker has gotten himself in check emotionally, mentally, physically, everything across the board tells me that he is worthy of keeping the title that he has called his own. Nothing against Apollo. I feel like Apollo honestly has come back, has taken almost everyone out, has had a busted up eye, has done everything, wrote in his journal what's going to come to fruition for him. So I hope it happens. I hope he's seeing into the future what he could not see with his last opponent. I wish both of them the best, and I wish for the best match.
You're gonna have good fireworks in this one, and the crowd's definitely gonna get into this one on both sides. Alyssa?
I'm not gonna really have much to say. Kind of gonna piggyback off what Kia said. I'm excited for it. I think this one's definitely gonna be a fun one to watch. It was the eye, and it's like about every time you write something down, it comes true. He tells us, well, there are first times for everything.
First time for everything.
I've enjoyed the promos for this one, and yeah, I think it's gonna be more leave it on the match or like leave it on the floor type thing with this one.
Agreed.
So just leave it on the mat. There you go.
Moving to the picks so far. Let's see where the OTRAs have this one. They are going 67%. So again, a 2 out of 3 so far. But they're leaning with Breakker to retain for the time being. Again, the vote's still relatively young. A few days left before it actually becomes official because it doesn't count till the bell rings. This could be something that could fall right in the middle of the live event. This could also be your main event. And with respects, I mean, if you're going to end the year on this match, you've got a good one right here. So, you know, again, I think the crowd's going to be electric for this one. I think they'll be electric for the entire live event. I mean, all three of us have had the blessings of being at the Performance Center within the last year plus. And we know that that's one of the louder environments that you can go to in terms of all of wrestling, despite its smaller size. So I think this one's got all the making of a great last major title match for the 2022 year, with Breakker being in almost all of them. Kia, you get to start things off with this one.
I feel like Breakker, like I said, to kind of piggyback off what I was saying, I feel like Breakker has done everything in his power to get himself in check. I feel like he has literally had to go, and we talk about Apollo taking the journey. I feel like we're overlooking Bron, his journey, where he was unstable, irrational, emotional, and now he's got everything in check. You know, I feel like, honestly, it's kind of the Finn and Karrion Kross story, you know.
Ooh, I like that comparison.
With Finn telling Karrion to get himself in check and Karrion have to think about it. I feel it's the same thing. And I feel like Bron has gotten himself in check, has done what he needed to do. And again, this is his title. Nothing against Apollo, because you know how much I love my, Atlanta-based Georgia boys. But I don't see it being his time. As much as he's writing in his journal, I don't see it yet.
You like Breakker?
I'm taking Breakker for the win.
Gotcha.
Please.
I'm going to go Breakker as well. To me, this is one that I think Apollo has come back for kind of the same reason they're doing things with the New Day. He needed camera time, but there really wasn't anything on Raw or SmackDown, and that's something you're seeing from H ever since he took back over. Is you're seeing him, being willing to say, look, let's put you back down in NXT for a few weeks, even if it's just for a handful of matches, but it's getting you a chance to have yourself a storyline, get yourself a match, and it's also working to put a name that's down there up and over. So he's finding ways to be able to use the talent that don't have a story right now in the main roster and finding ways to make them work. And we've been saying for months that, it's like, oh, is this going to finally be Breakker's call-up? Is this going to be Breakker's moment? And every single time, I can come up with reason as to why it should be, the call-up. But it's also been proven you don't have to drop the NXT title to make a debut at the Royal Rumble if that's what they end up deciding they want to do with him. I feel like Breakker is right where he needs to be, and I feel like he's suiting things well for the moment. So I don't see the title change here. I think maybe at the end of the night, maybe he finds out his next competitor. It's also nice that he doesn't have Theory breathing down his throat and threatening a cash-in now. But I do like the Journal not coming true as well. I like Breaker retaining. Alyssa?
I like Breaker too.
Well, we already knew that, but who's your pick?
Breaker. My God. I mean...
So many high rolls.
No.
I love it.
I mean... I don't see it yet. Not yet. I think we're getting closer. I just don't think Apollo's going to be the person to take it off him.
Do you think now? Let's say everything goes as we draw it up. Breaker retains. Does this match happen again? I mean, we know.
Do y'all think y'all could see it as like a best of three type thing?
Well, we know Cruz won't be next because the winner of the Iron Survivor would be next. But
Sure.
Could this match happen again? Maybe at WrestleMania weekend.
Hooker crook type stuff. Yeah, I can see it.
So I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing this be like you said, maybe a 2 out of 3 or get
Some
yourself a
without the
rematch
title
somewhere
on it,
along
yeah.
the way.
I like it.
I don't want to use the term carryover or just kind of a drop in here, but it doesn't give off that vibe, but in a way it kind of does.
They're gonna follow through. If they're just gonna do a follow through, just call it that.
Well, either way, so again we sweep across the board, and right now the OTRA is leaning towards us as well. Time to change your mind if you want to call us all idiots and go with Apollo and then be either right or wrong. But let's see how it works. But with that brings us to our co-main events, and this is where we get the new unique type of match that is being called Iron Survivor. It's the first one-of-a-kind match that has never been seen before in any type of wrestling. So a lot of people actually asked us going into our Top Rope spoilers exactly what all the rules are. I think even Alyssa wanted kind of a walkthrough in terms of exactly what was going to happen. So going right to the source, going to WWE and their official pages, and we were able to get this in terms of exactly what it is. I know it's a bit difficult to read, so I'm actually going to shut off the lights so that way you guys can get a better view. Alyssa, you can kind of come zoom in if you want to. But basically, each match, there's going to be a women's match and a men's match, 5 per match. None of the superstars are eliminated, so if you're pinned or submitted, you're not done. You do compete for the entire length of time. But 2 people at random will start the match. Every 5 minutes, one of the 3 remaining people will have an opportunity to join the match. I did not say I was done yet. And what happens is once after the last superstar enters, there's a predetermined time limit of 25 minutes. So, grand total, both of these matches will last exactly 25 minutes. Well, that means that the 2 people who start will wrestle all 25 minutes, but the person who enters last is only going to wrestle 10. So, there's advantages to both sides. I must have set this on a timer, so my bad, y'all. So anytime you score a pinfall, submission, or fall victim to a disqualification, you earn a point. If you score a point, obviously, just like in a Survivor or in an Iron Man match, you have the opportunity to be able to try to get the most points. If you have a point scored against you, you then go into a penalty box for 90 seconds. It prevents you from being able to, get, pinned multiple times in succession, but at the same time, it also stops you from being able to be part of a match for, a minute and a half. And the idea is when the clock stops at 25 minutes, whichever person scores the most pinfalls will ultimately be the winner. In both of these matches, it is for the number 1 contendership for the respective championships. Now the screen can flip. And we'll begin with the women's deadline match. No, I did not design this particular setup here, so a couple of them are upside down. But this is, the first opportunity, and again, a one-of-a-kind match, so we have no historical basis or anything, even knowing exactly where the advantages lie. Is it more advantageous to go first, but you're going to be tired at the end? Is it more advantageous to come in last? You're fresher, but don't have as many opportunities to be as long to score points, or is it more advantageous to fall somewhere in the middle? We don't even know what the order they're coming out in is, because ultimately there's no determination until we actually get to the event. But we'll start in the women's division. It is all of this selected, by the way, by a Hall of Fame panel led by Shawn Michaels, and I kind of like that idea of them kind of picking who has deserved it based on their body of work over the course of the year. But you've got Kiana James, Roxanne Perez, Cora Jade, Zoey Stark, and the wild card winner from the NXT last week, and that was Indi Hartwell, who was successful in being able to get herself into
Yes,
the
ma'am.
match. I believe it was Wendy, Chu, and I cannot for the life of me draw the third person. It'll hit me in a second. I'll say it out loud or something, and I can see the comments just like screaming out who it was. So my apologies to whomever it is. I'm drawing a complete blank right now. But again, we have no historical significance, and we all have our personal feelings.
What's her name? She got injured, didn't she? I can't think of her name, but I know. No, she was with Kaden and Chance. Was it her?
Nikita?
It wasn't Nikita.
Okay, then no.
No, it wasn't Nikita.
Not even in the ballpark, then never mind.
That's cool. Either way, these are the 5 that are in it. One of these 5 is going to move on to what we believe will be New Year's Evil to challenge Mandy Rose for the NXT Women's title. Again, no historical significance to go behind because it's the first-of-a-kind match, so all we have is just, our gut feelings on the match and who we think's going to take it. So, Kia, your thoughts on this one?
I feel like Zoey is kind of in her own head. She's out for revenge. She's, hell-bent on, going after one person and then going after that group. That I feel like that's going to be playing in her mind in the forefront, so that's going to stand in her way. I feel like Cora Jade, I feel like these two former besties, friends, enemies, frenemies, are going to, take each other out, eliminate each other, more or less in a sense. I'm still not too sure on her because this is my first time hearing about her this week.
Fallon Henley. I knew I'd get it if I thought about it long enough.
The Coyote Ugly bartender, right?
She owns her own bar.
I feel like, honestly, with all respects, I'm going to go with what I know. I know more about Indi than I know any of these women, and I feel like she's come in, she's done what she's supposed to do, she's done what she's needed to, and just the fact that you got in last week showed the panel, the Hall of Fame panel, that there is something there. There's potential for you to be probably the first person to take everybody out that's in your path in this match.
Sean said about Indi Hartwell when they were going through it, that's like, she's one of the best talented wrestlers, if not the best on the women's roster, even putting Mandy Rose in that list. She says the only person who's not sure of Indi Hartwell is Indi herself. Indi herself. And it's like, if she would find that confidence in herself, she's going to hold gold, and she could very well be one step away from getting that shot.
Yeah.
Alyssa?
Well, I agree with all of that. I also like Indi. But it's because, you're starting to see that change. You're starting to see that confidence. You're starting to see that, I'm done with y'all's opinion. I'm done with all this extra junk. I know what I'm here to do. I know what I'm going to do.
And I'm
going to do it. What do you mean? Thank you very much.
And that's on what?
Her. As far as Kiana goes, again, I don't know much about her. All I know is that skirt. And, and them glasses. Then you have Roxanne and Cora. From a storyline standpoint, they've had their shots. They haven't gotten it done. Kiana, she wouldn't get it done. And Zoey is the only other one that I could see, but I mean, it's Indi. So, yeah, I like it. Yeah, I said what I said. And I'm going to stand by it. Yeah.
So starting off with the OTRA's picks up till now, and again, a long way to go in this one, but for the moment, we're going 58% Roxanne Perez, and down at the bottom in second is 22% in favor of Cora Jade. So it looks like they're going either Roxy or Cora, one of the two, to get another shot at Mandy. And I can see the favorability because, again, the whole idea behind this is the fact that this match is supposed to reward ultimately what the panel felt were the 7 most deserving women, other than Mandy, to deserve to be in this match. 4 of them they placed in, and then 3 of them had an opportunity to earn their spot, with Hartwell ultimately getting it done. So I definitely can see this. I get to open the voting on this one, and the tricky part behind this is because we've never seen this type of match before. There's no real strategy in terms of who you're going to pick here. Exactly, because you don't know what order your person's coming out in. You also don't truly know until we see a few of these matches. Is it more advantageous, like I said, to come out at the beginning? Is it more advantageous to be in the middle, or is it advantageous to be at the end? So this is truly a toss-up with a lot of good names, a lot of people who deserve an opportunity to go for the title. So with that being said, I'm going with my just complete gut on this one, because I've got nothing else to go by, and my gut feeling is always, okay, if I'm sitting in the arena, and I'm hoping I'm going to be, if we can get the transportation down, Who am I going to be cheering for? And my answer to that is going to be Cora Jade. I just feel like it's set up that she has built herself into this larger-than-life heel. She's full of herself, but that works well for a young heel. She has a very much mentality of a young AJ or a young Paige, depending upon which way you want to go with. You could argue the same thing for Roxanne Perez. They're very much, peas in a pod, just kind of playing two different sides of the coin here. And I do think that Roxanne is going to ultimately do her best to try to stay in the way. I feel like Zoey could have a good match, but that creates that heel versus heel championship match. And while, yes, Cora does that, I feel like you're going to want to put the championship on someone who, now with this new mean streak, could be the one to finally dethrone Mandy to start the new year. I like everything you said about Indi. My heart is not going to hurt, and I'll stand up and cheer and clap if Indi pulls this off. But my gut feeling, I'm going with Cora.
All right.
Alyssa?
Well, I've been riding this train for like the last few PLEs.
Choo-choo.
Exactly.
Beep,
That
beep.
evolution
That's a
has been working. Watching that story build, watching how they've changed over time. I did it with Theory. I had that gut feeling. I got it. I see that same mental change. I saw it in Bron. I got it. I'm seeing that same thing. Yeah. I'm seeing that formula with Indi. I like her. We're going to go with Indi.
Also making Indi do the extra work, making her go that extra mile, having to win that one more match because
that's that momentum.
Well, because the committee wanted Indi in the match, but they're like, she's got to have the confidence in herself, so they didn't just put her in, they made her earn it by having to beat Fallon Henley and Wendy Chu, two very good competitors themselves. So, I can definitely see why it is, and you could be hitting the nail right on the head that I think is right on par. Kia,
but can you see can you both see the what's the word I'm looking for? Before they disbanded, before Gargano and Candice went off and had their kid, who was part of the way? Johnny Gargano, Austin Theory, Candice LeRae, Indi Hartwell, and Dexter Lumis. I feel like with that being said, like Alyssa said, Theory, he's got this mean streak that has come out of nowhere, and it works for him. He's gotten this confidence, and it works for him.
Facial hair.
And he's gotten the facial hair, which, again, everything works for him. But in the end, if anything that Johnny and Candice said to either one of them has made a statement, it has been Austin. So with that being said, I'm pulling for Indi. Indi is confident. Indi has a lot going for her. I just think she needs to see it. And at some point, she's already cut all the BS out. I'm about me. I'm going to do what I need to do. I'm going to make myself proud. I'm going for the gusto. And if y'all don't like it, that's too bad.
That's tough.
The crowd will get heavy behind Indi Hartwell in a match with Mandy Rose. I will say heavy behind it. And you could bring Candice back for a one-off to keep Toxic Attraction at bay, to make sure it's a one-on-one. But Indi, also, let's give Indi her flowers. She survived the thick and thin of everything in NXT. She's run every storyline you've asked of her. She's been that one person that most people believe has been there way longer than she should have been.
Yeah, she has.
So, it's like, either put a belt on her or call her up.
Exactly.
Let's do one of the two. And if it ends up being that they don't want to put the strap on her, but she gets her swan song here,
I like that.
That's fine. Bow to the crowd and hey, give them the way on the way out, and and get ready to come up. Maybe a Royal Rumble debut.
Yes.
So like I said, my pick of Cora is not for any insult to any of these other women because all five have had a fantastic year. That's the reason they're in this match. But I'll stand up and applaud if Indi gets it done. Don't get me wrong for a second.
Let's do it, girl.
That's who I'm pulling for, and I believe in her.
I want to change my pick, but it's too late now.
Too late.
It's a good argument, right?
It is.
I was thinking about that.
See, if I'd gone last, I would have had time to be able to take that into incorporation, but it was my turn to go first.
I just feel like she's gonna get it done. Something's just like she's there. She just needs that little push.
We riding together, girl.
Vroom, vroom.
Vroom, vroom.
And then the final match of the night, same setup. It's the men's Iron Survivor match. Same concept, 25 minutes to start the match. Bring in the other three. But this time it's for the men's. And the winner of this match will move on to what will believe to be... All it says is future title shot. But everybody believes it's expected to be either New Year's Eve or potentially the last NXT prior to the new year. But this one, you've got your 5 men that the same committee believed were the 5 most deserving in terms of being able to get in, with 4 being automatically put in, that being Grayson Waller, Carmelo Hayes, Joe Gacy, and Jade McDonagh, and Axiom earning his way in via the wild card win on NXT yesterday.
Hey, I just realized they left Forehead out.
Yeah, well, Wagner was part of that match that Axiom ended up winning.
Oh, okay.
So, it wasn't done by him being left out. He didn't qualify. Axiom ultimately ended up getting the win.
He was pushed out.
To me, it was kind of a surprise, but ultimately it worked out. If you look at it, whether you like them or don't like any of these particular competitors, all 5 of these have had fantastic years. You can run each person across the line. You've got Axiom, who ran half a year in the UK, and then came over and has been, I think he's taken only 2 losses since he's gotten to NXT, since he got here. Grayson Waller took AJ Styles to the limit earlier this year and has had fantastic storylines. He's also the one credited for taking out Johnny Gargano, although he's back now. Carmelo Hayes' year speaks for itself. Multiple-time North American champion. Yes, I'm aware of where the ladies are smiling and leaning, but that's their story and to tell. And a lot of people believing, that he is. He's basically gone out and said, I'm the A champ, and even when I'm not holding gold, I'm still the A champ, and now he's decided to aim for something bigger. You look at Joe Gacy, who has started up his new group, combining in the former NXT UK tag champs and adding Ava Rain in there to their group as well. So his group Schism has put him on the map. JD McDonagh coming over from UK, pushing Breaker to his limit. Pinfall wins over Ilya Dragovich. And the thing about it is, unlike most NXTs, McDonagh's out there virtually every night. Most of the time you get a match on NXT and then you don't see him again for a couple of weeks. McDonough's wrestling almost every NXT.
Yes, sir.
He is not looking to be a one match and then I'm done for 3 weeks.
Not a one-off.
I do believe that I don't think there's much debate on this. All 5 are deserving to be in this match on the years they have. But again, with no historical significance to go by, it's kind of just gut picks here. So, Alyssa, we'll start with you. What's your gut leaning to? Not necessarily your pick, but just your overall thoughts in this one.
All right. So, if we're going around the thing, I know I've seen Axiom put on some really good stuff with who did he? Yeah, with Fraser. They went back and forth for a little bit, so I know he's pretty good. Wasn't he hurt though?
Yeah, he was hurt, but just recently came back.
Okay.
He beat
Forehead and what's it called?
The Garcia guy.
Yeah, sure. As far as Lord Far, JD McDonagh.
Once you see it, you can't unsee it.
I'm trying to unsee it.
As far as JD McDonagh goes, I gotta give this man credit. I do see this man every week. I'm not gonna lie to you. When this first popped up, I didn't know who that was. I was sitting over here trying to turn upside down. I don't know why, but my mind went straight to Karrion Kross. I don't know. I'm blind. Don't do me. But yeah, he's been out there like every week, so I could definitely see him getting some stuff in. As far as Joe Gacy goes, he's got Schism. You've got your own group going. Build them up. Do something with that. But it's good to see that face. Please don't smile at me. You make me a little uncomfortable. But we digress.
He's smiling at you now.
I know, but he's sideways, so I don't see it. Grayson. When I think of Grayson, I think of that rivalry with Apollo. It was good. You busted my man's eye up. Disrespectful. He couldn't see his future for a minute. But we're gonna digress on that. But we all know Alyssa always comes back to the A-Champ. I always do, and I don't know what it is. Because it ain't that boo-boo stain. But I'm going to digress. One of these days, we're going to have to pull that up and put that in there so that they can see it, so they can know what we talked about.
The story. Do you think now's the time?
Yeah.
No, don't do it to him.
Put it in the blooper reel. But apart from that, this man has been handling business.
But also watch, if you put that in the reel, you got to get his partner Trick. You got to get his reaction when he sees it too. So if you're gonna do it all. So I'm gonna go off on a small tangent. I didn't even know this was Grayson Waller. Is that Grayson Waller?
That is Grayson
Yes, it
Waller.
is.
why does he look different on screen than he does on the TV? He actually looks better here than he does on TV. But I digress.
Temporarily.
Yeah, there we go. Axiom, I feel like even though he was injured, he's come back, and I feel like he's got great things in his future. Gacy, I think he needs to go back to his group Schism and be strange with them on his own, and he's just got to go. This is not for him. Nothing against you. You got to go. Take your smiley faces and your smiling faces and your group. The best thing about his group is the new member. That's it. She's not creepy yet. Yeah, she's not creepy yet. I'm not pulling for him because he did my man wrong, Wesley. So we're going to go ahead and let that go. Again, your own people.
God. We are on our junk here. Lord.
Started up. I'm glad this was last.
Yeah.
And with all respect, I love you, Alyssa, but every time I see this man, y'all know the whole wish list Amazon thing?
He's on the wish list.
That's the wish
Show him
list.
up.
No.
Prime delivery.
Yeah, and then you get large flower quad, which is not, I'm not him, but that's what I get at this point, and that's all I see. But in respect, y'all are right. He's been here day in, day out, every week. So you know what that means for me? He's always here, in the gym, out of the gym. He's always working, never not working.
Swear to God, never not working.
Never not working.
So for me, I can tell you where I already know where my picks are going to be, and we can get to that at that point.
So let's move it into the OTRA's picks so far. Again, not official until the bell rings. There's a lot of good choices here. I mean, who you want to be the one to face the Breaker Cruise winner, at later in the year or to possibly open the year. But right now, they're going heavy. 69% of the voters going with the A-Champ, Carmelo Hayes, with 12% going Axiom, actually, as the second choice at the moment. So that means if you look at it, that means the rest of them together are only getting about 30% of the votes. So the OTRAs are going heavy for Carmelo Hayes on this one. Obviously, subject to change between now and then, but I feel like this one's probably going to stick. Alyssa, you're up first on this one.
Like what?
You look at it, and honestly, you also have to think, who wins between Breaker and Cruise, and that could possibly play a role in who you choose as well. But, again, with no historical context, where you heading?
We have been making this prediction or this storyline up for a little while now, and I'm gonna stick to it because it makes sense. With the North American title coming off of Carmelo, I said the only way I was okay with that was either him going after Bron or him getting called up because he's talented. He's high flying. He's got a lot of energy. I feel like
great on the mic.
Exactly, great on the mic. We can work on everything else, but that's okay. Where he is right now, I have no problem seeing him go up against Carmelo. Throw me away. Put me in a trash can.
Blooper.
I could see him more than the other four matching with Bron or Apollo. Yeah. So I'm gonna have to go with the OTRAs on this one. We're gonna ride or die. We're gonna go Apollo. Yep.
Yeah.
Carmelo.
I'm not going for poopy pants.
This happened a year ago.
That don't matter. That just sticks. First impressions are everything.
Really?
What did my mama say? If you have an issue, bring extra draws.
Thank you. You have to be prepared for these things.
Now I feel like we've got no choice. We've got to tell them where this is coming from. Community post to come forth in a little while. Jesus Christ.
Me and Kia have been on this joke since we seen it. I said, Kia, did you see that? She said, yeah, girl, I saw that. Did you see that? I was like, yeah,
girl. Did you see Trick's face when he saw
I
it?
did.
Okay, I'm sorry. Let me get back.
Gotta reel it back in, Lord.
Okay, for me, my pick. I'm sorry if my breath is kicking. I had taco salad from Taco Bell.
Oh my God.
Let's give it to Taco Bell.
Hoot.
My pick is going to be my man, JD.
They're not back under control yet.
Yeah, I just knew she was gonna be like, my man, Lord Farquhar.
I'm not gonna do you like that. I'm not gonna do you like
I'm
that.
sorry, it's all
I'm just
love.
saying, you have brought him in. You have done, previews and promotions, and you've promoted this man coming all the way back from Ireland, where he even said it was snowy and it was cold and everything else, to come back to come back to the United States, come back to the Performance Center, come back to NXT. I feel like in all respects, again, he's here all the time, day in, day out. There's no one stopping him. And I feel like he would be a good veteran in the locker room. He tried to help Diamond Mine. They didn't want to hear it. So guess what? Like Indi, he going to be about himself, and he going to win Deadline. And that is my pick.
JD. All right. I mean, we've stated it already. I mean, I could see any of these five being the person to go after Bron. A couple have had a few shots at Bron Breakker already. JD, Gacy, actually everyone except Axiom has had a shot at Breakker up to this point. You could see a title change with Apollo, opening up some brand new rivalry matches. I just don't want, with respects, I don't want Apollo to be a carryover champ. Do not have him be a paper holder champ if you're going to do it. Just to open up so Bron doesn't have to, take a loss to one of these 4 or 5. But I mean, my pick is simple here. It comes down to the fact that he is, out of everyone on here, everyone has their different suits. We have high flyers, we have strength guys, we have speed guys, we have, great on the mic, we have great, technical wrestling,
everything,
great submission. I mean, you got it all built in this match. I truly think, short of Bron Breakker, I think you've got the best 5 available in this match right now. But one stands head and shoulders above the rest. He's great on the mic. He calls it like he sees it, and more often than not, when he calls it, he follows up. When he shoots, he don't miss. Carmelo Hayes.
Yeah.
This is a match built for Carmelo Hayes. Trick's going to have to keep himself under control with disqualifications being potential falls, but also he's the one guy outside of Gacy who could potentially have, Trick, Schism as well, potentially playing roles in this as well. But Carmelo, this match is built for a guy like him, and if he wants to truly put himself at even a level that he hasn't been to yet and get that NXT title shot one-on-one, this is the match he's got to win. Everyone's going heavy, and it's for a reason, and I'm going the same way. Carmelo Hayes.
When he don't shoot, what's it saying again?
When he
shoots,
shoots, I don't miss.
He clearly missed.
Mm-hmm.
But we're going to let that go.
With that, before we get ourselves canceled, because Lord knows they're trying, that is our OTRA, our On the Ring Apron top rope spoiler for NXT Deadline, the final premium live event of the year. For those of you that are new to us, thank you so much for joining us here. We do this before every premium live event, so always be watching that stuff. Go make your votes on the community page. But like I said early in the show, we've had a ton of followers join us over the last several weeks. So, I want to, on behalf of all of us, extend out our huge thank you in terms of just everyone that has supported us throughout this year. Some of you are familiar with our story. It's been the year from hell for us. We have been dislocated from our house for almost 6 months. It's been a struggle, but we've been able to continue to keep doing this at events. We, thanks to our YouTube contract, we've been able to, attend and meet some wonderful fans and wonderful people at these events. So for all of you who have supported us throughout all of this, thank you so much for being a part of this. We're looking forward to continuing this into 2023. We still got a part of a season left to finish. Let's see if Alyssa or Kia can finish the comeback, or are the OTRAs going to take us out? Because remember, there are some nice benefits to the end to the person that ultimately takes the victory. And also on behalf of all of us, for those who do celebrate, and happy holidays, in case this is the last time you see any of us on camera.
Happy holidays, happy Kwanzaa, Merry Christmas, whatever you celebrate, good for you.
It's the time of year where it's time to, like I said, not necessarily, be thankful, because that was the previous one, but it's time to, have the good tidings, have the good feelings, and also make it a point to make the next year even better than the previous one. With all due respect, not that ours is set too high right now with the year we've had. Alyssa, final thoughts?
Thank y'all for adding me, y'all too. It's been fun.
The fact that we did that at the same, that's love.
It's been fun. It's been a ride. It's been a journey. Woo, chill.
This isn't your 2 weeks notice, right?
No,
okay.
Not yet.
Well, it's been
Not yet.
been lovely having you, and y'all make this fun. She gets to, Kiki with, another young lady back there. Y'all get to laugh about Boo Boo Stain and everybody else. And Lord Farquaad and God knows how many people on the main roster that we poke at.
Sorry.
We get to watch them drool over Roman Reigns and the Bloodline.
Boy.
So let them have their fun. But either way,
Can I make one mention right
Go.
quick? Have you noticed we have our ugly sweaters? If you're on WWEshop.com, go get yours. They've got the most updated
shameless shout out.
I'm saying Alyssa has her Roman Reigns on. He has Becky Lynch. I have Shotzi. Can we all think of one thing they all have in common?
They're all badasses.
They're all alumni of this NXT. They're alumni, so yay. But with that being said, we're going to let y'all go because I'm hungry again and I got to go to sleep.
Okay, again, happy holidays. You guys enjoy Deadline. If we can get there, interest videos coming on YouTube after. Bye, y'all. Kia.
Peace.
Alyssa, take
Peace
us home.
out.
Bye.